Hey guys, Jonathan Soda here, back again doing another movie review, and today we'll be reviewing Back to the Future Part 3. Now, Back to the Future Part 3 was once again directed by Robert Zemeckis and features Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Lee Thompson, Thomas F. Wilson, Elizabeth Shue, James Tolkien, Mary Steenburgen, and Harry Carey Jr. and Pat Buttram. So the plot of Back to the Future 3 is that it is set right after, right after the events of the second one. Like it takes place right where the second one ended, just like the second one did to the first one. So all this just happens in just a nick of time, like in the same time with no time, not much time passing when the sequels happen. When the yeah, so yeah, it just takes place right where the second one started. The second one ended with uh, Dr. Emmett Brown accidentally going into the year 1885 because like they already got the sports almanac from Biff and they burned it. They burnt it and then they fixed the time loop, but they couldn't get back to 1985 anymore because like the the DeLorean was like glitching so much, and like the time loops would keep saying 1885 instead of 1985, and so like once Emmett Brown tries to go back for Marty after he burned the almanac, he the lightning bolt hit him, and then that's what made him go into the year 1885, and so like Marty was really sad about this. Like, did the dog die? But then, like, a letter came for him saying that the dog is living happily now in the year 1885 with his beloved love interest Clara. So yeah, and then once that happens, Marty's really excited that the doc is back. So, but like he doesn't know how to go to the year 1885. So like he goes back to the old doc from the 1955 that just took Marty back home. And then once he goes to him, he's like, no, I'm back from the future. And then like he's just like, great Scott, and then he faints. Like he's really shocked that another Marty is back too. So yeah, and so and then once that happens, um, what was I gonna say? 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 Oh yeah, Emmett Brown wakes up at at his home again, and then like he's talking to his mic, saying like, "I had a dream that Marty came back again from the future, from the future," and then Marty ends up being in there too. Like he ends up being in Doc's house. So yeah, and then Emmett Doc Brown is just like really he's really freaked out about it, and like he even plays around calling him Future Boy again, and then Marty like explains to him like everything that's been happening and all of that, and then Dr. Brown like starts believing him again, and then he reads the note that his future self left for him. So yeah, and then like once that happens, the note says that like the DeLorean is like buried underground and all of that, and then yeah, but like before they do that, they find out that Dr. Brown died there. Like he died in 1885, and like they see his tombstone, and so like they're that really freaks out Dr. Emmett Brown and really freaks out Marty too. So yeah, and so that really has to have Marty go back to 1885. So yeah, so once that happens, they go to the library and they're looking at their like his old family and all of that in the 1880s. So yeah, they're just looking at Marty's old family, and then after that they go to where the DeLorean was hidden, and so they get it, and then they're and then like they prepare him to go in there, like they give him like a bunch of 1800 clothes, and like this scene was really funny where Marty has like these cool Nike shoes that weren't even made in the 1950s, and then he was like, Marty, you shouldn't be wearing those shoes to 1885, nor should you be wearing them in 1955. Yeah, that scene was pretty funny. So yeah, and then once that happens, he gets his like clothes ready, but like he kind of like forgets to put he doesn't have time to put his boots on because he just keeps his Nikes on. So yeah, So yeah, and then like what else was I gonna say? So yeah, like the old dog like helps him go to the west, but like he doesn't go with him though. He just stays there like always, like in the first one, like he tells him, "See you in the future." You mean the past? And then he's like, "Exactly." And so like Marty goes to the past with and then he finds the dog there, and then he finds Biff's ancestors, like his great grandpa. I forgot his name. I think it was Buffer Tannen. Yeah, it was Buffer Tannen. Yeah, it was Buffer Tannen, his great grandpa, and yeah, like he's like one of the greatest shots around. So like he's in the West now. He's in the Old West. In 1885. So yeah, he's just in the Old West, and like with like the Old West with like shootings and all of that, and the clothes and all of that, and cowboys and horses. Yeah, he's just living through those times now, and that's where the whole movie takes place at. So like yeah, so like Marty runs into the doc. Basically, Doc Brown saves him from like getting hanged from Buffer Tannen. So yeah, once that happens, Doc Brown was like, "I gave you specific information not to come back for me, just to go back to 1985." And then he's like, "Well, I had to come back for you. You see, you die in next week and all of that." So yeah. So let me see. Oh yeah, and I also forgot to mention too that Marty does not go by Marty in the West. He goes by Cliff Eastwood, like the actor. So yeah. Uh, so yeah, and like but like he still goes by Marty by Emmett Brown. So yeah. What was I gonna say? So yeah, like, and then he tells like he tells them about him dying, so that makes him want to go back to 1985 too. But then like, they're trying to like figure out a way like how to take him back to 1985 if the DeLorean is out of gas already, and like the yeah, the DeLorean is out of gas, and they don't even have like enough power for 1.21 gigawatts again. So yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, they actually. Let me think. Do they have enough power for 1.21 gigawatts? No, they actually do have that power, but like they need gas to like have it go 88 miles per hour. Because at that time there was no gas stations, or not even the horses would go 88 miles per hour. So yeah, and so they then figure out like that they should take the train. The train should take like those old timing trains. They figure out to take a train to put the DeLorean on there so it can go 88 miles per hour and sending Marty back home. So yeah. And then after that, Emmett Brown like gets a love interest, like he gets into a relationship with this old lady named Clara Clayton. I think yeah, her last name was Clayton. So yeah, she he ends up falling in love with her, and so like it becomes this love interest between Dr. Emmett Brown, and then like Marty's just Marty and Emmett are trying to like make sure that Doc Brown doesn't die in those times. So yeah, and they're also trying to, what else are they trying to do to stay there longer? Let me think. Let me think. Is there anything else they're trying to do? I don't think they're doing anything else besides that. But like yeah, so like but like Doc Brown is like really hesitant on if he should go back to 1985 or if he should stay because he just really loves Clara now. So yeah, that's basically the whole plot of Back to the Future Part 3. Now, do I love Back to the Future Part 3? Yes, I love Back to the Future Part 3 actually. This movie's actually really good. I actually do like it a bit better than the second one actually. But it is not better than the first one actually, but it's still really good though. This movie is still really good. It's not nowhere near on my top 15 favorite movies, nor on any of my favorite movies, but it's still really good actually. I just really love it. It's really really good actually. I just really love it. It's just yeah, it's just a really good movie. So yeah, and all the characters are still really good in this movie. Like Emmett Brown and Marty get really big roles in this movie. Like they're the main antagonist. They're the main protagonist again. And Buffer Tannen does not have like much of a huge role as Biff did in the second one. He does have a role in this movie, but not as much, nowhere near as big of a role as the second one. So yeah, and then like Marty's girlfriend like does get introduced again, but towards the end of the movie, and James Tolkien does actually comes back as acting in this movie, but he does not play the principal. But the principal, the character of the principal, is actually in this movie actually, but as like a really little kid, like as an 8 year old. So yeah, that was really cool seeing the teacher as an 8 year old in this movie. But what really confuses me is how like he's an 8 year old in this movie. He's like a small 8 to 5 year old, 5 to 8 year old. In 1885, how could he still be living in 1985? So that always confused me. And this Back to the Future always has like a lot of questions they never really answer. Like in this whole trilogy, like there's never a moment where Lorraine or George like to tell Marty like, hey, you look really familiar to Marty from my past, from Marty from 30 years ago that gave me so much tips, and Marty that I really liked before your father actually. So yeah, there's never really a time like that ever in the Back to the Future trilogy, but um, it doesn't really bother me that much though. Like it's there, but it doesn't really bother me that much. Like it's not really like a huge flaw of this trilogy. Like it doesn't completely make it flop, nor does it flop at all. Like it's nothing. It's just nothing actually. It's not really a huge flaw to this movie at all. It's just there. Like it's not really like I don't really focus to it that much. So yeah. So yeah, like this trilogy has a lot of like unanswered time questions. So yeah. So back to the characters to this movie. So James Tolkien actually does play the father to the principal in this time. Like he plays the mayor to this town. He was actually the mayor into this town. The principal's father was the mayor to the town, and that was actually pretty cool to see James Tolkien play the mayor. And the mayor actually had like a really big mustache styled from the 1800s, and yeah, it was just really cool seeing James Tolkien with a mustache like that. So yeah. And Mary Steenburgen played Clara. Clara was a really good character in this movie. I actually did really like the love interest between Clara and Doc Emmett Brown. It was really cute to me, actually. Like, it was really cute, and it really summoned the movie up for me, and it actually made it a bit better for me, actually. I actually did really buy their relationship in this movie, and it was really cute. Like, they both were really hardcore nerds on science and all of that, and it was just really cute. Like, they're into the same stuff, they're into like the same stuff and all of that, and like yeah, it's just really cute, like their relationship, and like they're just always talking about science and how much they love it and all of that, and they're like, oh really, you like that too? It really inspired me and all of that. Like it's just really cute, their relationship, and just them getting to know each other and all of that. It's just really cute. So yeah, and like them kissing is just really cute, and yeah, their relationship was just really cute in this movie. So yeah. Mary Steenburgen did a fantastic job playing Clara, and the only movie I saw her in was this indie slash Mexican movie called My Family. She played like this minor character who was like this white girl. Yeah, but like she was good in that movie too. But we are not talking about that movie. But yeah, I've seen her in that movie. I've seen Michael J. Fox in some movies too, like this werewolf movie. I forgot what it was called. He also did play like a small, minor, very minor role in the Annie remake that came out in 2014. He was also in Stuart Little too. Yeah, he voiced Stuart Little in the movie. So yeah, is there anything else I've seen him in? I think that's all the movies I've seen him in. I've seen Christopher Lloyd too in some movies too. Like I've seen him in the Piranha movie. You guys know the Piranha 3D movie. Yeah, I think it was on Netflix. I think it's still on Netflix actually, but it was the first Piranha movie. He was pretty cool in that movie. Yeah. I don't think. Yeah, Lee Thompson. I've seen her in some movies too, mostly in the '80s. I saw her in the horrible Howard the Duck, horrible slash hilarious Howard the Duck movie. That, yeah, and then I saw her in the horrible slash very hilarious again, Jaws 3D. So yeah, wait, and actually no, it wasn't. Jaws 3D wasn't horrible to me. It was okay, but it was still like really hilarious to me. So yeah, Thomas F. Wilson. I also did see him in Blood In and Blood Out. He did play a small role in that movie, but I think that's the only movie I've seen him in. So yeah, I don't think I've seen. I think Elizabeth Shue was also in the Piranha movie with Christopher Lloyd, which was also really cool in that movie. I don't think I've seen James Tolkien or any of the other actors in this movie. So yeah. So yeah, enough talking about the actors. The actors, they all did an amazing job in this movie. They all were really good in this movie, and they're all really good with all their other movies. So like, sorry if like this was also talking about other movies too. I just wanted to share with you guys that I just haven't seen these actors in other movies too. So yeah, Actually, sorry, I kind of mistook it there. I was like, I have seen the actors in these in a lot of other movies, not haven't. So yeah, sorry for that awkward pause. So yeah, yeah, all the characters were still really good, and you could really buy that Marty really wants to go back home, and he has to really stay in here, and you can really buy that he doesn't want the Doc to die in this time. So yeah, and you could really buy Emmett Brown in this movie too. Him being confused on if he should stay or not, and his relationship with Clara and all of that. So yeah, he was really upgraded in this movie too. So yeah, I really liked Emmett Brown in this movie. I really liked Lee Thompson, and Michael J. Fox also did play another role in this movie as like Lee Thompson's character's wife, Maggie. Yeah, her name was Maggie. Lee Thompson played this played like I think Marty's like great grandma, Maggie, and she was married with this other man that was played by Michael J. Fox. Michael J. Fox was really hilarious as that role actually, but I forgot what the husband's name was. But they played a pretty good role to me. It wasn't important. It was not important actually, but it was still a pretty good role to me. It was still hilarious too. Like the man that Michael J. Fox plays in this movie, he was really funny in this movie actually, and yeah, it was just really funny those scenes. So yeah. And Thomas F. Yeah, I really like Buffer Tannen too in this movie. He was really cool. Buffer Tannen was just really cool. Like all the scenes with him, like shooting and all of that. Him like picking on Marty, and like him like wanting to kill him and all of that. And yeah, and those scenes were just really cool. And I really love like the makeup work they did to Thomas F. Wilson. Like he looked completely different in this movie actually. Like the makeup work was amazing with him. He looked completely different, and it was really cool how he looked in this movie. Okay. So yeah, it was just really cool the way he looked in this movie. So yeah, and and the scenery to this movie was really cool actually. Like I love the scenery in this movie. They really captured the Western times really well in this movie. They really captured the West really well in this movie. And this movie was actually a whole lot more different than the first two. Like this movie was actually way different than the first two one was, but it was still really good though. And it really captured the different it made it work actually. And the Western was really cool actually. The way they made the Western look was just amazing, and it was just really cool the scenery was. So yeah, the scenery was just amazing. So yeah. And I just love how like this movie just takes place in the Western. Like they don't go anywhere else besides 1985 in the beginning and the end. No, they go to 1985 in the end, but like, and then they go to 1955 in the beginning. But it's kind of like a minor role between those two. But like, I just love how like the movie just mainly focuses in the Western. So yeah, it doesn't go to like a lot of other timelines throughout the entire movie and focuses a lot in there. Like in the second one, it just focuses most on the Western. So that's what I really love about this movie. So yeah. Let me think. Yeah, so like, Buffer Tannen was a really cool character in this movie, and I love the gunfight between him and Marty in the end of the movie, and I love that dance scene. There was this scene in the movie with like a dance, and it was really cool, and I love the music that was in that scene. The music was really catchy to me, and I sometimes listen to that music that plays in that scene, and I just really like that music in that scene. So yeah, and like what else was there? Yeah, that music was really good, and like I really like in that scene we see the Doc dancing with Claire, and like Marty's like, I never knew the Doc could dance, and he dances really good, and yeah, I just love that scene so much. And like in that scene, Marty and Bufford and Doc Emmett Brown were originally gonna start a what? A gunfight, but then like Marty switches it up so he can take the role forward, so Doc won't die. So like he like they switch it up, and then like I love in that scene too. Like Marty, like they give Marty like a gun to like shoot like these like wood things. So yeah, like you know, like those games, the shooting games they had like in the 1800s. I love when they do that, and Marty's really good at shooting in that scene. And then they're like, how the hell? The people were like, how the hell did you learn to shoot like that? And he was like, 7-Eleven. Yeah, that was a really cool moment, and he actually did learn to shoot like that in 7-Eleven because there were a lot of board games like that in the 7-Eleven he would go to. So yeah. So yeah, and yeah, the video games do kind of teach you stuff at times. So yeah. So what else is there? Yeah, yeah. That scene was just really cool. So yeah. Let me think. Uh, is there anything else? Let me think. Yeah, I think that's all the characters. So the soundtrack was still really cool this time around, like that dance scene I told you guys about. Let me think. The comedy was still really good. Like this movie was a comedy, was still a comedy at times, just like the first two, and it was still really worked. Like all the comedy moments just still work really good. So yeah, and like let me think. Is there anything else I should say? Let me think. Yeah, the pacing was still really good. The this movie is like 2 hours long, and it does go by kind of fast actually. Not as fast as the first one, but it still goes by really fast. So, yeah, it still goes by pretty fast. But at times it does just get a smidge boring at times. But that's okay. That's my only complaint with this. Just at times this movie does get like just a smidge boring at times, but. It's fine. There's still a lot of the whole movie's just really enjoyable. It's just like a little bit of scenes just get a bit boring at times. So yeah, the pacing still is pretty good in this movie. So yeah, and Robert Zemeckis really had a heart with making this movie too. Like he had a big heart with making this movie, and he really captured the westerns like really well in this movie. So yeah, let me think. The let me think. The let me think. Is there anything else? Let me think. The action was pretty good in this movie. Like all the scenes with shooting and all of that, they were all done really good actually. So yeah, this movie had a completely different tone than the first two did. But usually in those tones, like they messed it up or something like that. But in here, they actually did the tone pretty well actually. And yeah, it didn't the tone didn't ruin the movie for me, but it made the movie actually better to me. So yeah, but it's not better than the first one actually. But yeah, yeah, this movie's like I said, still really good. So yeah, let me think. Yeah, I really like in the movie Doc Emmett Brown and Clara like are having trouble with their relationships because like he's confused on if he should go. So like I love this scene where like he's telling her like I have to go and all. Then she's like, where will you be going? And then he's like I don't know. And then he keeps like having trouble like telling her like what he's doing and all of that. And this was a really big complaint for me. Like Doc actually tells Clara in that scene that he's a time traveler and he's going back to the year 1885. And like I'm just like, Doc, you're smarter than that. Why would you tell her that? Like, why would you tell her everything? Like, that was another complaint I had with this movie is that he told her about the time machine and all of that. So yeah, let me think. And then like right there, that's what really has Clara like that's what really like makes the relationship like go like nuts because she's like, how could you use science as some sort of joke to have us break up with each other? If you don't love us anymore, you don't love me any. If you don't love me anymore, just say you don't love me. Don't pull this weird science shit about you don't love me. Don't ruin science for me. We're done. And then all of that. So like yeah, those scenes with them having trouble with their relationship was just really cool. And like I just loved how depressed Emmett Brown was in that scene. He's like. He goes to this bar and he's like telling everyone in the bar about Clara and he's holding this whiskey and all of that and he just tells everyone about the future and I'm just like, Doc, what are you doing? Like, don't tell everyone about the future. You're way better than that. Like that was another just really big flaw was just him telling everyone about the future and it was just really big flaw. But like the people took it as a joke though. They didn't take it serious. They just took it as a joke. So but and by the way, they're not even gonna see the future from 1885 because they're gonna be dead by then. So like, I guess that sort of fixes it. So yeah, but like I just love how he's just holding whiskey. He's not even drinking it at all, and he's just telling them how depressed he is. And I just love how Clara's like leaving the is gonna leave the town after that, and like but like she hears the train people say like poor him. He really like thought about her, and he was like, wait, who are you talking about? This man with white hair? He was talking about this Claire girl, and then that really made her like get off the train and want to go talk to Doc Brown. So yeah, and I love that scene where like the doc takes like takes like a shot of whiskey and then he passes out right there, and then they're trying to wake him up, and then they wake him up with like this really spicy drink, and then that makes him go for water, and then that makes him pass out again. So yeah, that scene was just really funny to me. So yeah, and the gunfight between Emmett between Marty and Doc Brown. Doc Brown and Buffer Tannen was really cool, and like Buffer, like at first, like at first Marty was really scared with the gunfight, so he decided to run away. So yeah, and then he was just saying this whole stuff like it doesn't matter like what people think of you and all of that. What matters is what matters is how you think of yourself and all of that, something like that. And that was a really cool theme to the movie as well. That was a really cool theme. But then he still does the gunfight, but like he has a bulletproof vest though. Like Buffer shoots him, and like you think he's dead, but then he has a bulletproof vest, and then I think he like shoots. I think like he like he hits Buffer with the bulletproof vest, and then he makes him like fall on shit again. So yeah, so yeah, and I love that scene where like Clara like she goes to Emmett's home, and then she sees everything about the DeLorean and all of that, that it was actually true what he was saying. And I love this scene where like when they're trying to get back home with the train, and like Marty's like in the car and all of that, and like they're in front of the train and all of that, and like Emmett is trying to go back there too, but like Clara is in that train too. Like Clara's like trying to go to Emmett to try to talk to him and all of that. And I just love that scene. Like I really feel for Clara right there too. Like Clara, please talk to him and all of that. Please like talk to him and please go with them. Please go with them, Clara. Like I was really caught up with that scene every time I watch it. So yeah, that scene was just really cool, and it's just it raises your anxiety too so much, and like just Emmett like not hearing her, not even hearing her, and yeah, and like a lot of the stuff like going down in the train and her being confused and all that just really raises your anxiety, and like the train smoke like changing color and all of that was pretty cool too. Let me think. Is there anything else? Okay, so yeah, I really like when like Clara like is like getting hurt sometimes, like when she's like in the train too. So yeah, let me think. Hmm. Uh, okay. Yeah, I really like the scene where like he ends up seeing Clara behind her, and then Marty goes home. Marty is the one to go home. Like Marty like gives Doc the hoverboard from the second one to like help Clara, but then like Marty like it was too late. Marty already left 1885 without Doc Brown, and then like he's back to 1985 now. So yeah, that scene was pretty cool actually, where like he goes back to that time, and then like it was just really sad how you think he left the dock and all of that, and then like he goes back to 1985, and it kind of looks a bit different. Uh, so yeah, and I love how like he goes back to Jennifer, and like Jennifer notices the paper saying you're fired is like vanished and all of that, and like I love that scene where like Marty's just like back at home, and then like let me think. Like, there's these like bullies that would bully Marty. Like, even Marty would get bullied at times. Like, there was these bullies that like wanted to offer like a car chase like between them, like a car race. But then he just tricks them. He just has them go like keep going, and then they crash. Like the friends crash right there, and he just stayed right there. So yeah, that whole scene was pretty funny. So yeah. And I love like in that scene oh yeah, I forgot to mention too that the DeLorean got destroyed once Marty came back, because he came back to like the train yards, and he barely got out of the DeLorean, and then it destroyed right there, so there was no way of getting Doc Brown back at all. So yeah, and I love how you think that's gonna happen, but then but then the Doc shows up in like this time traveling train, like this train that can time travel, and it was really cool actually. And like Doc comes back with Clara, and like he actually gets two kids with Clara and all of that, and then like Jennifer like tells like Emmett like this paper said you're fired, and now it's vanished. Like, what does that mean? It's vanished from existence and all of that. And he's like, well, that's exactly it. It's vanished from existence. And then Marty's like, Doc, what about the future? Like, you have to do something about the future. And he's like, no, the future is nothing. The future is not already made. The future is what you make it. and then he flies with the train, and then the movie ends right there. That was a really great ending to the trilogy, actually. That was a perfect ending to the trilogy, actually. Now this movie was really good, but I hear that they're gonna make a remake to this movie, actually. At first, the idea of a remake to this movie is not really necessary to me. Like, that's a very stupid idea to make a remake to this movie, actually. Uh, yeah, so like it's just really stupid to make a remake to this movie. But one thing that really makes me into the remake, actually, is that Tom Holland is actually gonna star in it as Marty, and that's actually really cool. Actually, that's perfect casting right there. Like, having Tom Holland play another version of Marty is actually really cool. Actually, so now I'm kind of into the remake now, because like, yeah, that's actually a really cool idea. Actually, I really dig that. So yeah, that's the only thing that makes me want to watch that remake that'll assumably be made. So yeah. Let me think. So yeah, to rate this movie, I'll rate it an A. Yeah, it's a pretty good movie, just not as good as the first one. So yeah, I'll rate it an A. So, to rate, if you wanted me to rank these movies, I think the last place would be the second one, the second place being the third one, and then the first place being the first one. So yeah, I think that'll be another review. Bye, and see you all in